This is the second video on lesson 3.4. Just as a reminder, if you want to write the equation of a linear relationship or linear line, the equation is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept, or it could be f of x equals mx plus b, since y and f of x are interchangeable. Slope is the rate of change in output per change in input, where x is our input and y or f of x is the output. The equation for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, and slope is rise over run. So let's get started on this. In the previous video we did number 29 and 30. I'm going to start with 32. On number 32, the equation is negative 5x plus y equals 10. We need to recognize this is not slope-intercept form. It's not in this form right here. So what I need to do is solve for y. I'm going to add 5x to both sides. I get y is equal to, these are not like terms, I'm going to write the x term first. I now have my slope is 5. The y-intercept is 10. Number 34 is the same way. It's not in slope-intercept form yet. So I'm going to solve for y. This is on the wrong side. I'm going to add 3x to both sides to get rid of the negative 3x and to isolate my y term. We'll write the x term first. That way it will resemble slope-intercept form. Now I need to divide both sides by negative 4. Positive divided by negative is negative 3/4 x. And positive divided by negative is negative 6 over 4, which reduces to 3 over 2. So the slope is negative 3 over 4. The y-intercept is negative 3 over 2. Number 36 says f of x is equal to negative 1/4 x. This may not look like slope-intercept form a whole lot, but if you look up here, f of x equals, the slope is going to be negative 1/4, because that's the coefficient of x. You don't see a constant here, so the y-intercept is 0. That one was pretty easy. Sometimes you'll run into one that looks like this right here. And you just recognize that since you don't see an x term, the slope would have been 0, and the y-intercept would have been negative 5. Okay? So if you see one of the terms missing, just realize its coefficient was 0, or in this case, the constant was 0. Okay? Alright, moving on to number 38. 38 says f of x is equal to 2x minus 3. I believe on this one we were probably supposed to match it with a graph, so I'm going to do the graph of this. I recognize that it's slope-intercept form. The slope is 2. The y-intercept is negative 3. So to graph it, I'm going to start at negative 3. You can think of that as a beginning point, and the y-intercept symbol is a b. Begin starts with b, so I'm going to begin at the point negative 3 on the y-axis. And then this is how I'm going to move. The slope is, I'm going to go up 2 for each time the graph goes over, because slope is rate of change in the output, the y value, the way y changes as x changes. And didn't draw a very straight line, so that's how you do it. Number 40. Slope on this one is -2. Y-intercept is -3. I'm able to do this because this is slope-intercept form, mx plus b. Now to graph it, I'm going to begin at -3. The slope says it's -2, so each time I take a step over, I'm going to go down 2. I'm going to use a line drawing tool this time so I don't do such a bad job drawing the line. There. And that's the graph of the line. It hit at -3. Y-intercept's -3. Slope is -2. It goes down 2 every time you go over. So I could have put more dots on if I wanted more points. Down 2 over 1. Okay, it brings us to number 42, 44, and if you need me to, I'll do 46. So, on 42, they want us to do a sketch, and I'm going to go ahead and say, because you don't see an x term, the slope on this is slope-intercept form. It's just the slope is 0, and the y-intercept is -2, because that's the constant. To graph it, I go to y equals -2, because that's the y-intercept. Put a point. And the slope is 0, so it is horizontal. That was one of my better drawn horizontal lines there. Okay. Number 44. If x equals -4, you notice there's no way in the world I can solve that for y. There's not a y in the equation. So what I need to recognize is this cannot be put in slope-intercept form, and that's because the slope is undefined. And if slope is undefined, it's a vertical line. So to do a graph, I'm just going to go to 4 on the x, and the reason I chose 4 is because it says x equals 4. And because my slope is undefined, I know it's going to be a vertical line, so it's going to be just like this. And there's the graph. I hope this video helps you.